Good morning, James. Chapman, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. You look mighty swole today. You been hitting the gym hard?
Just a little bit, man. You know,
Just a little bit.
you know how to say the right things to the right person. You know that?
Yeah, I like to whisper sweet nothings. What can I tell you?
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I tell you what, been doing a lot of um kettlebell work, just doing something different.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it, man.
I
I
like
still
it.
look in the mirror and say, you little punk.
Little sissy.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, you're all flexed out, bowing up before we started this thing, just getting in the groove. I see. Just getting in the mindset.
Mindset.
Right. There we go.
That's
I
what it's
like
all
it.
about. Right. So what you got going on this week?
Man, I am laser focused. I am dialed in.
Dialed
Very
in.
yep. So I
Focused.
did this. I'm working with a coach now. We've talked about that. And I've just been chaos and clutter. And I had my last meeting with him, and he literally goes, like when I got on, I was just like, man, I got like 3 cents down. He goes, time out. Like, we're going to scrap the whole lesson plan for today. Let's talk. So we talked, went through stuff. I was chaos. And I told you he asked me questions that I couldn't even answer about myself. Right. I realized how little I knew about myself. I can spot all your faults immediately, all your issues or things you're good at immediately. I'm very good at reading people, but I never stop and engage and like try to learn and understand myself. I just do. Right. It's autopilot. It's stupid. And I've worked on that really, really hard and focused on where my time's going, just everything. And, man, I'm way too soft on stuff with expectations from people. I pick up way too much work I shouldn't be doing because I try to cover, right? And I'm too empathetic.
Too empathetic.
Too empathetic, man. I'm too understanding of every situation. Like, you can love on people and care about people and take care of people and still say, okay, hey, here's the expectation. Here's where we still need to get. So, I'm too empathetic on myself too. Feel sorry for myself way too much. And like, I'm just tearing through all those things and then he flat out. So we just had another meeting yesterday and he didn't ask. He said, you don't know how to delegate properly and you have no time management going now. He said, so you're going to do this. And he made me build out this super cool little checklist. And I got accountability from him on it. And man, I set that sucker up and it's such a natural flow for me. I mean, I walked in this morning and just started checking items off the list. I've already started building tomorrow's list. It's the most simplistic things. And some reason we're so special and delicate little flowers. We overcomplicate the things that can make us successful.
Okay, so I'll kind of punch back there. I don't know if it's actually being sensitive or being delicate. I think it's the simple fact that people try to do too much of a task list, which creates overwhelmingness, which also creates getting nothing complete. If you have a task list that's 10 things long, you may not feel as if you want to complete all that because it's like you just get overwhelmed. Like, well, what do I need to do first? And then you're like, well, let me prioritize this. And then you spend 10 minutes prioritizing and then whatever it might be, right? But yeah. I think if you break it down and you do the top 3 things very well, you finish those, get those out of the way, move on. Next 3 things, like it allows you to have it more manageable to where it's actually not overwhelming on the human brain. But yeah. So I don't know if it's being delicate. I don't even know if it's being sensitive. I think it's more so like people try to cram a lot into a little amount of time. Like if you actually look at time management, dude, if you broke down your 1,000 seconds or your 1,000 minutes in a day and we're like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to spend. like it would probably make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to spend 15 minutes on this. I'm going to spend 15 minutes on this.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just don't have a full comprehension of time management. I know I don't.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Well, I didn't realize how many gaps I had until I've become this overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I talked about that, like hard work's got me where I'm at, but it's not going to just lead me into the future. I can't just outwork everything. Like I have to be, it's not about hard work. It's not about it. It's about being the most effective. If somebody could walk in to a company and accomplish in an hour what it took somebody else 8 hours to do, they're more effective.
Yeah.
That's it.
Who do you want to hire?
Yeah. It's like the person I want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This person I want to hire, this person I want to be. But, it's the other thing to that. You're just talking about that list. So here's the thing. How many people do you know that are just basically their life revolves around the workday being over? Most people
Majority
we know, right?
of people. Yeah.
Yeah. That same person, how many times have you been to a Braves game or some kind of sporting event and they walk out and they're either throwing t-shirts or even more exciting, they got one of those t-shirt cannons where they're blasting t-shirts out into the crowd.
Yeah.
You see people like raising their hands, trying to catch one, diving over each other for a freaking $5 t-shirt. Like, because for some reason it's exciting. If you get it, it's a win, right? Like, so what are we doing in our work days to create things and make these wins, right? These little t-shirts we're trying to grab, like how do you stay excited about that in some way? Like I can already tell you, I'm excited not because of the work I'm accomplishing. I just want to complete the checklist right now. That's it. And I need to have that kind of energy now. It's day zero for me on that. But this checklist, this new way of doing it, all I care about is just closing it all out so I can just feel good. Like I'm not even overthinking it. Does it move me forward? Does it not move me forward? Is this effective use of my time or not? It's just a checklist. And the next item on the checklist needs to be done. Podcast was an item on the checklist. This is here lately. How many times do you have to absolutely chase me to get me on the podcast here lately?
Pretty regular.
A lot.
Yeah.
Right. I already had Zoom pulled up, and when I finally sent you a text back, it was because I just hadn't seen you had joined yet. But I sent the invite.
Right. Yeah, I saw the link come through.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, link sent, right? Like, where you at? Because it's an item on my checklist. I just want to get that item checked. I got 14 items to check today, and everything else is gravy. Like maybe that's what I need for my simplistic Stone Age, knuckle dragon ass. Like I need something maybe that's simplistic. Why has it got to be overcomplicated? Why has it got to be the new, biggest, best plan with all this fancy stuff? Keep it simple, man. Like just keep it simple. And, the in-depth work you do based off of that can be deep. Doesn't mean your process to do your deep work needs to be deep too. You know what I'm saying?
I do, because, there's so many people that make a checklist on paper and then they move it to their computer and then they move it to an Excel sheet, or then they move it to Trello and then they move it to, a list in their pocket so they can carry it around. And then by the time that they actually look at what's available or what they're trying to actually complete, they don't know where left, right, and center is.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that many times.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, man, I think we talked, I don't know how many podcasts we have now. So I'm sure we talked about a lot of different things over the years, but I used to be horrible about that. I used to have like 3 different notebooks.
Yep.
Depending on the thing I was doing. It was all business, but it was like, well, is this a company meeting? Is this a sales meeting? Is this a client information? It's like, why so much junk?
Yeah.
Like you can overwhelm yourself with all the different apps out there and everything. I will tell you what I am using for the checklist now is completely built out. It's got every day, and it's in Trello. Now I like that because I was already using Trello for like big projects, but I never use it as a daily. But dude, it's fantastic.
No, it is. And there's something about Trello. Like, one, it's free. You've seen all of these other ones that like Monday. There's so many tasks and team softwares, I guess, that allow you to do a lot of the same things, right?
Mhm.
But there's something to be said about Trello itself, and we're not sponsored by them by any means. However, it's huge. I mean, it's one of those things that allows you to create so many different boards on what needs to be complete. Like we use it in our office with every single individual. Like if there's delegation to be done, it's run through Trello. If it's, my own personal task list, it's in Trello, right? But there's so many ways to use it that it has become something that I use in my business, but also in my personal life. Like
Yeah.
at home, Carly and I have a board together where we're either, what's on the grocery list, what needs to be done, what has to be completed this week, what's coming up. Like it's a whole list. Um, she doesn't really enjoy it that much because she feels like it's bringing work into, um,
Into
personal
home
life.
life, yeah.
Yeah, but for me, it's I need those things because if I don't have those things, dude, I'll end up 10 pages deep on something that's irrelevant. Right? It just is what it is because I have to have that order. If I don't, man, I'm a crazy man.
Yeah.
I'll do crazy things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
No, I mean, and I mean this in the best way. I think you are, to me, always looking at you. I mean, knowing you since you got into the business and started trying to build a career, you are a prime example of someone understanding themselves because you know where you're good. And well, all right. Well, like you can be modest about it if you want, but like that was something that was really, frankly, at first it was, like it was surprising to me how like aware you were and like where you needed to shore up. Like I think you would ask people for advice, and you weren't an asshole. You would take the advice, you would apply it, and you would use it. And at the end of the day, it's you, but like you didn't waste any resource in that. Like you've been very smart and very clever in that and shoring up ways to like, hey, if I don't have this organization, I will be chaos.
Yeah.
You've been able to compute that in your mind and go pleasure, pain. Like I'm always focusing on the pleasure because I know that pain will be there if I don't do this. You've
Yeah.
always done a good job of that to me, and
Well,
it's always impressed me. Like it motivates me. Like I love it.
I appreciate that. I think everybody has that one thing where they're like people see it, and then on my end, I'm like, man, I'm just trying to do the best. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like just trying to figure this shit out.
yeah,
But I'm that's cool that it comes across that way because
yeah.
that
It,
is
it
something
very
that I
much
push.
does.
Hmm.
It very much does. And there's things that I think that I'm decent at, and because I'm decent at them, like I'm decent with managing my time. I'm not great at it. I'm decent. And I confuse that as like, well, okay, Addison's got this. He's got a personal assistant. I don't really need a personal assistant. I'm pretty organized. Wait a minute, stupid. Like, okay, because I'm good at math, should I just throw away all my calculators? You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Right.
how much could that amplify what I'm doing? Right? Like, it puts me in a better position. So,
And that's something that we've talked about for years.
yeah. I mean, and I'm
Years.
just, yeah. And I've just like, just simplistic things like of how to make your life operate and run better.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's one of those things that having somebody that you can bring on that can handle all the stuff that normally would distract you from everything else.
Yeah.
There's way too much shit out there.
Yeah.
Way too much shit. And
And I think to that, Addison, is that's the goal, right? Like if you say, hey, I want to be more successful, I want to be more successful. Well, that means you're going to have more people pulling at you. You're
Mhm.
going to have more things coming in. There's going to be more activities. You have to filter that through.
You got to have a gatekeeper.
Yeah. I mean, and whatever that may be, like you have to have some kind of system, some kind of process, or some kind of person that's helping you filter that information. That's what you want.
But you are right. You are right. I mean, and that's one of the things that when I got into the business of real estate, there were two people that I went to understand where they were, and I knew for a fact of I wanted to be in their shoes, right? I can't take advice from somebody um, that is not where I want to be or is not doing the things that I want to do. I just can't. I won't listen, and it's not going to be eventful for anybody, right? Um, like that's just the way that I live my life, and that's the way that I've found that is the most benefit. Like if you don't have, a six pack abs and you're teaching physical fitness, for me, like, and you get what I'm saying, like a
Yeah.
personal trainer in that sense. Like if my goal is to have six pack abs and you don't, I know that I got to find somebody that does, because that's my mentality, right? I've got to be able to see where I'm working. Or on the other half of, like, if your business is not where I want my business to be, I'm not listening to you.
Yeah.
Um, and one of the biggest things that I pulled out of that, when I got in, was the first year I was meeting with the operations manager, like the OP at Keller Williams. I was like, dude, I got to figure out whatever you need me to do, however I can do it. I need one meeting with you a month, and just a touch base, figure out where I need to grow.
Hmm.
And he's like, I'll give you a little bit of time. If you do what you say that you want to do, cool, we can have a meeting every month. And I was like, dude, that's all I got to do is just follow a thing that you say to do. Dude, I can do that. I can put my head down in March. That's easy. Right.
Yeah.
And so we did that for a long time. But the first thing that he said, kind of bringing this full circle here, was you've got to have an assistant that is going to manage everything that you can't manage. Right. Because if you're dealing with that stuff, you're not dealing with money, um, money task, basically. Like if
Oh,
you're,
like money making activities.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're not focused on that, and you're focused on everything else, that money making activity will get kicked down the road continuously.
Yeah.
And you can't, if you want to be where you want to be, like the things that you're telling me, you've got to have that in place. So the moment that you think that you can afford it, do it. Don't think about, like, don't map it out. Just when you get to that point, just do it. And he said, everything else will figure its way out. If you have the right person in place, you will make enough money to afford that person.
Mm.
And so I did it multiple times, in
Yeah.
that sense of, like, I didn't wait to hire, right? You didn't.
Mm.
You didn't crunch numbers and be like, okay, well, I think I can afford this,
Yeah.
right?
We just slapped it on there and just said, let's go.
Let's figure it, right? And so you've got to do that to make yourself level up. It's the same reason you bought a Ford Raptor, right? It was a dream truck, yes. However, you know that you had to nut up to make sure that you could handle whatever comes along the road with that, right? The same reason you bought the home that you bought. It was a level up, right?
Yeah.
There's certain things I know I personally have to level up, or I'll get stagnant.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I've had, multiple cars over the multiple years,
Yeah.
right? I get stagnant, and I know that. I guess going back to the awareness piece, but like you've got to have that something that you're pushing or that is driving you to make a move.
Hmm.
And that personal assistant for me was, dude, insane.
Yeah.
It changed everything, and I've been trying to tell you that for years.
Yeah. Well,
Years.
I've shored up well on all the other areas, but it's always like, well, I just still run my day,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's back to it. Like that's what you want. You want to create newer problems by doing those things,
Right.
like if that's what you want, if you want to get, if you're saying, hey, I want to chase this, I want to go this far, which I think probably most people listening this, that's the case, right? um I don't know, some may listen for my soothing southern accent, but I doubt it.
I mean, potentially. I mean, you probably have all those Australian people that are like, man, I love that
You think so?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I think so, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so to that, let's put a bow on it. What's the thought there, right? Like the thought is we want you to engage in how you think, how you work, where your gaps are, and shore them up. Because there are areas you're not strong in. A lot of people say don't focus on your weaknesses. I agree with that, but you should focus to make sure that it's not costing you money or stopping you from executing on the places you're talented in.
Yeah. And do things that drive you to do things that motivate you.
Yeah.
That would be something that I would say
Yeah.
is do things that are scary to motivate you. I guess would be
Mhm.
the bigger piece is like I can't say when we started off as me and just one assistant that I didn't see that this company was going to be where it is currently. But I also figured I would be a lot further than where I am, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that always plays in my head of like, dude, I've said that I was going to be this and I was going to do this. How how have I been complacent in that? And then realizing, and then like, okay, we just got to step it up a little bit. Like, there's a reason why I've been on this constant pursuit of like, we just got to bring on people, like
Yeah.
non fucking stop,
Yeah.
nonstop. Just we're
Yep.
going to bring on people because I need to be stressed to the point of feeling that red line, and then so that it becomes normal, and then I can increment, incrementally. How's that?
That was good.
Yeah, I couldn't do it again if I tried. Either way,
Yeah.
making it happen consistently to where I'm continuously redlining and then
Mm-hmm.
always having to let that become the normal and
Mm-hmm.
always pushing that pedal. So that
Yeah.
would be my thing. Do
Look,
things.
there's a lot of people that are much more seasoned than me and you, right?
Mhm,
But we can state this as fact because we've been in business for a while.
mhm.
I'm telling you, anytime somebody new is taking on a new venture or doing something and they're scared, you can tell they're more scared than anything. Don't waste that because I will tell you, the further you go along, that is some of the most powerful motivation you can have. And the further you go along, like it doesn't happen for me as much anymore. It just doesn't.
Mhm.
When I did my first acquisition, I literally, I was, now I went too far. I was so stressed. I literally was breaking out in hives. Okay.
Yeah.
I was running every day, all day, as hard as I could go, and it still wasn't enough. But like it was this scared run. I've done multiple acquisitions since then. My last one, like, I don't even know if I stayed late the first night. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
it's just different. It now is just the norm. Do not waste that energy because it is rare for me to get it. Now, that's probably on me. I need to be doing like you're saying. I need to be pushing the stuff where I'm staying scared too, right?
Yeah, but you have done those things
Yeah, no,
consistently.
I'm with you, but you're saying stay after it. So, because we overestimate what we can do in a year, we
Right.
underestimate what we can do in 10 years, right? Like, where could I be in 10 years from now if I ran a little more scared at times, right? So, I'm just saying, like, though, if you're newer into something and you're running scared, thank God, like, use it, use it, use it, use it. And the next time it comes around, like, let that be the cue, baby. Turn on the fires, use that shit. I'm telling you, because it gets less and less and less.
Yeah. Yeah, and that there's something to be said about that when the heat becomes normal,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to find something that cranks it up even more. You got to turn that
Yeah.
nest on, baby.
Yeah. You got to
Um,
get it like nuclear.
huh?
I said, you got to get like nuclear, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's a cool way to um express it.
Yeah.
It's a cool way to express it. So With all that being said, you know, it doesn't come with doubt. It doesn't come with not doubting yourself, right? There's a certain level of that will come. For me, it's a very consistent. Who the hell am I to be able to be in the position that I'm in currently? Why would anyone listen to me, right? And there's that what's the word for it? Figured you would help here. You're not helping.
I don't know
There's
where
a word for it. People are probably yelling at me right now.
Probably.
Damn. I'm just gonna filibuster until it comes to my head.
Okay. We're with you on this.
Yeah.
We're here.
When you feel like you're not good enough to be in the position that you're in. It's like
you're unworthy.
No, I mean, there's something that plays in that. There's a word, there's a statement that goes along with this. James, this is going to bother the hell out of me.
You might have to put it in the show notes.
Imposter syndrome. Boom.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I think that there's a lot that comes along with that when you start hitting those red lines and you start pressuring yourself to make better and more decisions, faster decisions, and you're growing and you feel the growth, but you're like, I'm not really sure why this is like having to tell somebody that's 20, 30 years older than me how to run a business or what to do inside of their real estate company. Like that blows my mind. But then I've got to be on the other hand of it where it's like, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right. But it's weird, bro. So be prepared for imposter syndrome or self-doubt. Like it will always be there, but it will lead you to a better, faster solution in my mind.
Yeah. Hey, I have one public service announcement.
Go ahead.
Totally off topic, but I just want to share this because I saw it yesterday and it drives me crazy. Hey, if it's your birthday or you just achieved something and you paint on the back glass of your car, it's my birthday, and put your Cash App, like, I ought to bill you is what I should do through Cash App. Why would somebody give you money because it's your fucking birthday and you got Cash App written on the back of your car? I'm interested. I'm just actually, I don't even want to know because it'll actually probably piss me off even more.
Well, okay, but here's my thought on that, right? I'm not saying that I would do it personally. It's not really my vibe. However, it's the same concept of like the bachelor or bachelorette party. That's like, hey, it's bachelorette night where, you know, Venmo me for drinks. Dude, it's the same concept.
Yeah, no, it's
the same concept.
Now, however, if I went to a bar and there was bachelorette party, probably more. All right, than if it was a bachelor party. I might be like, hey, buy that girl a drink. You know what I mean?
But it's the same concept.
Really stupid decision, so buy her a drink.
But that's right. But that's the concept of like, it's my birthday. I want to have fun, and you know, or the other concept of like, hey man, the other half of it where it's like, hey, just send me money because it's my birthday. There is that.
I hate it. I hate it so bad. I hate it so bad. I hate it as bad as the parents that go out there and turn their little kids into slaves by saying, oh, we're going to the World Series. Give us money so we can go. Like, hey, won't you sell some donuts or wash some fucking cars? I'll give you $10 for the box of Krispy Kreme donuts, even though it's only worth $2.50. And I don't even really want them because I can't eat them. Right. But I'll still do that if they're out there slinging them or something. Right. Like, make them earn that shit.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. There's something to be said about that.
So, I don't know if I saw my kid. Now my kid's she's 10, but my kid becomes right. She's driving or whatever, and she came home and she had "It's my birthday" with her Cash App. I'd chew her ass out. I'm just being honest. I would.
But there's something different about the parenting system, and there's also something about the it's a whole different concept of thought, right? There's people that would love to have that on the back of their car, and then there's the other half of people where they're like, that is silly as hell.
Yeah. Now I know somebody's gonna say, "Hey, well, I saw that. I was able to send $5 and just do something nice. It may have made somebody's day."
Mm-hmm.
You're probably right. I've bought drinks at the Starbucks line or whatever, right? I've done a couple of those things here or there, and that's fun. Like, I like doing stuff that's just nice when nobody's expecting it. I don't know, man. It fucking eats me up. It drives me crazy. Get a goddamn job and get after it. That's what I think. Can make a difference in the world. All right, I'm done. That was
all right, cool. With all that being said, guys, do not forget to check out Jocko Fuel and Origin USA. They are a big sponsor of the podcast, and we love everything that they do. Everything's American made. Everything is good for you. And it also feels wonderful on your skin. Talk about being able to do anything you want, whenever you want, in amazing clothes and amazing supplements. And it's all good stuff. So with all that being said, when you go to the websites, Jocko Fuel or Origin USA, put in the code GRIND10, and that's GRIND10. It will be in the show links. You can go there directly and get you some good stuff. With all that being said, James,
Grinder out.